My name is Gysbert Bergsma. I'm 32 years old and I'm a project coordinator for Mentoring Europe. I've been involved with Mentoring Europe since the beginning in 2015. Well, actually, there were two things that I was interested in. I wanted to be an acrobat because I like moving around a lot, and I used to do gymnastics. And also, I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel, and I saw something about biochemistry that really caught my attention, how they cloned people. And so I wanted to be a biochemist for a while. And during my secondary school, it transitioned more into going towards the army, actually. I didn't try out for it, but it was something that I wanted to do. And then when I finally had to make the decision, I chose social work. Well, I used to be, for me, my experience in secondary school was not as good because I have a lot of energy and I had to listen to someone else talk for 8 hours, and every hour we got a different teacher. And when I got home, it was expected that I had to do my homework for 2 more hours, but it actually took a lot of my energy to just focus. So when I was in class, I used to hear a lot, sit still, stop talking to others, focus on your work. And it made an impact on me because people's teachers said to me, well, you're clever enough, but you just are not trying hard enough. But at the same time, I was actually trying really hard because when I was at home and I was working on the things that I found interesting outside of school, like motorcycles, playing musical instruments, I could focus really well. And I thought, well, I think there are more people who struggle with these kind of things, so that made me choose social work education. For Mentoring Europe, I'm working on the Road project. It's a project about mentoring for unaccompanied adult migrants who transition into adulthood. And what we do is we match migrants who come to a new country who are below the age of 18, and we match them with mentors to help them transition in the next phase into adulthood. Because for a lot of, in a lot of countries, it's the case that once they turn 18, there's no support anymore. And when we offer a role model, a mentor, that is someone who can support the migrant even though they're transitioning into different phases. It doesn't matter because the mentor is there for them. Syria, Eritrea, actually now Ukraine, Russia, and also in the partner countries, in Greece, in Italy and in Spain, they see a lot of migrants coming from Syria again. When in 2015, many migrants came to Europe, but now again in 2022 and 2023, we see a lot of new Syrian refugees coming towards Europe. My mentor was Betty Byfoots. She was the founder of Mentoring Europe, and she was the one that made me see the talents that I have. So instead of seeing myself as someone who had difficulties concentrating, who had too much energy, I saw myself as someone with many talents, with lots of energy and with big entrepreneurial skills, which I didn't even know that existed, that you could start your own business or become a freelancer. But through conversations with her and actually seeing what she did, I had a role model who showed me where my talents were. And that's why I strongly believe in mentoring and why I'm still committed to the cause. Don't have your judgment ready, because you might think that you have experienced something similar. With a new person, it can be completely different. Well, I think I will still be involved with mentoring. I will probably be a mentor for the rest of my life. And I would like to still do projects with youngsters and mentoring that make an impact. Great question. Well, that's one of the strengths of Mentoring Europe, I think, is again, setting aside your own perspectives, because we have the opportunity to talk to mentoring programs and professionals and practitioners from other countries, and you get so many insights from them because they have their own approach, and they might have an approach that works very well for a certain situation. So I would say I read a lot about mentoring from other organizations, research, but also talking to other mentoring professionals, and again listening to their perspectives and their experiences. Yes, okay, great question. Once again. Well, as I told, I work together with Isaias. He's from Angola, and I went for the road program. I went to Barcelona with him. I got the opportunity to talk a lot about mentoring and inequalities and how he experienced those things, and it actually shocked me how often he gets into that kind of situation and how he manages to deal with that. And I think something that we've done and that I always do in my project is you have to work with the people that acknowledge and recognize the differences. So when we do a program for mentoring with newcomers, we always work with people who went through a similar experience, and because they really feel and understand what someone's going through. And I try to set aside my own perspective, and even also with the whole Me Too and with the whole the movement that people are talking more about inequalities. And I sometimes I used to be more conservative, but then I hear more stories and I think, okay, well, that makes sense. Actually, I'm not conservative, but in regards of those topics, I thought I was progressive, but then you talk to other people and you think, whoa, that's your reality. So again, listening to other people's perspective without judgment and trying to put aside your own perspective on things. Well, great question again. So one of the things that works really well is in our program, on a program level, is choosing mentors that acknowledge and recognize what the youngster is going through. And that works really well because they see when they talk to a mentor that has a similar experience, like, okay, you really understand what I'm talking about. I can talk to the mentee, and well, I think I'm good at making contacts, but when I see them talking to a mentor, you see them open up a lot more easily. So choosing mentors that recognize the story and acknowledge. And also, again, what we discovered is through sports, because sports is universal. And when we work with mentees from who are in shelters, when they move, yeah, you don't even need to talk. You don't even need to talk. You just see it. And one great example is Hans, who does karate with two Syrian guys. One of them already had a brown belt, and there's a bit of a language barrier, but you see that it works. So you don't even need to talk, and they feel, okay, I'm not alone in this. So sports, choosing the right mentors, and again, listening and setting aside your own perspective. I would start with seeing in your own environment who are your role models. But because people might assume that mentoring only happens through a formal program, but we also have mentors, and we call them natural mentors in our environment. Those are people that we see as role models. And when someone wants to start, and well, I'm always open to have a conversation, I would ask, okay, who are role models in your environment? And that gives them a start to start thinking about role models and mentoring. And then again, there is not one solution. So I can't give someone a book with this is what you need to do, because if you want to start up a mentoring program, you need to tailor it to the individual needs, to the individual environment, the context. Every country is different. You can do it in schools, you can do it in the community. So there is not one solution to the social injustices that you try to tackle with your mentoring program. So once again, start seeing role models in your own environment, recognizing them, and tailor your mentoring activities to the individual needs of the youngsters. I used to be decent at gymnastics. No, like the trampoline and the rings. How do you call it? It's not gymnastics. Is it? Oh, what's interesting is we did a program with 10 different sports and role models from different sports. And it was actually karate, boxing, skateboarding, our local sports, it's called kaatsen. The strongest men, so carry the, but also strongest women, important. What did we do? Serving, and many more.